Sleep training your toddler just isn't working, and I can tell you why. See, once your kid's older, like 3, 4, 5 years old and out of the crib, sleep can get crazy. If you haven't been able to get your toddler sleeping well, it's probably because you're missing this one key thing. Let me show you. When your child was a baby, sleep training was all about wake windows and self-soothing and feeding schedules. And you may have done one of the popular methods like Ferber, where you come back at timed check-ins to check on your child, or maybe cry it out, where you don't return at all. Or there's a few other popular methods where you kind of shuffle your way out of the room. And all of those sleep training techniques can work when your child is a baby. But babies don't have the big emotions and the vocabulary of our 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Babies aren't trying to, assert their independence and get into a power struggle with you. And babies can stay put in the crib. They're not running out of their room or trying to crawl into your bed in the middle of the night. So if you're trying to use one of these baby sleep training strategies that don't take your child's maturity level into account now that they're 3, 4, 5 years old, it's simply not going to work. See, your bigger kid is growing up and they're trying to assert some independence. They just desperately want to have some control over their little life. I mean, let's think about it from their perspective. They're constantly being told where to go, what to wear, when to leave, when to eat, what to eat. They're always being told what to do. And so they're just trying to assert some control. And that's why so many encounters with our kids end up in what feels like a power struggle, where you're like, put your shoes on. And they're like, no, I don't like my shoes. And you're like, we're having pizza for dinner. They're like, I don't like pizza anymore. Time to leave the park. No, I don't want to. Time to go to bed. No. See, we have to adapt how we interact with our bigger kids if we want the day to go smoothly. And the same thing is true at bedtime. When we give our kids a chance to feel heard and have some input into the routines that kind of guide their day, the day goes much more smoothly. So this is the missing piece if you've been struggling to sleep train your toddler, taking their level of maturity into account. There are 3 things that I teach parents to do with their toddlers and preschoolers that really help to create great sleepers. And all of these tips really lean into using your child's maturity level to actually benefit the sleep training process. And I teach all of this in detail inside of my sleep course, Sleep Tight Without a Fight. Number 1, involve your child in creating a great bedtime routine. Give them a say in what happens before bed. Just brainstorming with them and giving them a sense of control goes a long way to get their cooperation when it comes time for bedtime. This is one of the most impactful exercises that I teach inside of my sleep course. Number 2, clearly explain the sleep changes that are going to be happening. So first off, you're the parent. You decide on the plan. So the sleep plan that you put in place should make sense for you. It should make sense for your child, and it should reflect your parenting style. But you decide on the new plan. Then you want to clearly explain the new plan and the new changes that are going to be happening to your child so that they're well prepared. So this means explaining, over-explaining, role-playing, using questions and answers to really make sure that your child is well prepared for the changes. Number 3, you do the same thing with the consequences and rewards associated with your new sleep plan. So you explain and over-explain and role-play and use questions and answers to make sure that your child has a really, really clear understanding of what your expectations are as the parent. And a lot of times, this is where parents miss the mark, which is just not making sure that the child is crystal clear about what the expectations are. If you need help with any of this, I teach all of this in detail inside of my sleep course, Sleep Tight Without a Fight. I've got a quick word of caution here about giving your child a sense of control. So I've used this analogy before, but I like to think about parental boundaries like bumpers at the bowling alley. Those sides that pop up so that the ball doesn't fall into the gutter every single time. So that's what parental boundaries are like. We have boundaries that we can keep our kids rolling towards where we need them to go. Whether that's leaving the park on time to get to music class, or sitting down for dinner, or heading up to bed. We've got to give our kids a sense of control over their daily life while holding those very important boundaries. So yes, our big kids have big emotions and they always want to be the boss. But we have to remember, they also have underdeveloped brains. They haven't mastered logic or language. They don't have any impulse control. They have no sense of time. So we parents have to walk that fine line of giving our kids a sense of control, but also holding those boundaries so that our kids can get to bed on time and get the healthy sleep that we know that they need. When everything clicks, that's when I have happy families emailing me, telling me that not only is their family all like sleeping well again, but that their child is so proud of themselves and feels so accomplished. I absolutely love hearing that. This is what Katie sent to me the other day. Our son Oscar was in a total regression after transitioning him to a bed. It's not our first time sleep training him, but the techniques here were exactly what we needed now that he's almost 3. We are so proud of him sleeping on his own in a big bed, but even better, he is proud of himself. So if sleep training your toddler has been an epic fail, I bet it's because you haven't been using their maturity level as a way to actually make the process easier. If you want the instruction manual for how to get your toddler or preschool age kid sleeping 10 to 12 hours straight through the night with no wake-ups, I would love to help you. Check out my sleep course at sleeptightwithoutafight.com.